Hi there, thank you for your interest in computerrepairshopsoftware.com. When I speak about it, I'll be calling it CRS because it's a bit quicker to say. This tutorial is going to take you through setting up the SQL Server 2012 database for the first time, so it's ready to be used with CRS software. You would have received an email from us which will contain a trial license or a full license if you purchased it, and within the email there'll be a link to the downloads page. So going to the download page, you can see you've got options of downloading SQL Server first, followed by CRS software a bit later on, so you can download the release version or the beta version. But for this tutorial, we're just going to download and run SQL Server 2012 Express, either 64 to 32-bit version, so you need to choose which version you need for your computer. I would recommend 64-bit version if you can and your computer is 64-bit compatible. Okay, once you've downloaded it, you will get a zip file, so it would be called sql64.zip or sql32.zip. Within that zip file will be these two files. The bottom file, the big 135 meg file, that's the SQL Server setup installer, and also there's a setup.cmd file, which is basically a command line instruction to install SQL Server automatically that will match what you need for CRS to run. I recommend running the script, as this will set CRS out for you and you won't have to do too much. Amount of time it will take, probably 15 minutes maximum. SQL Server 2012 is quite a big program once it's installed on your machine. You may have another server or another computer you want to install it on for, but I'm just assuming for now that we're going to be doing it all on the same computer. Okay, so once you've installed command, setup.command, you will be prompted, you'll be told it's all complete and everything's all okay. You'll have a few dialogues coming up and you'll see some progress bars. If it appears nothing has actually happened, then I would just run the SQL Server first initially. That will probably prompt you to install a few updates. It probably didn't run the setup.command file because there's a few updates what were needed. The setup command is kind of like get it all up and running once SQL Server is fully installed, so you can install the default instance and the default database, and then come back and run the setup.command afterwards, and that just set it all up for CRS. Once you've done that, you will be ready to run. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start CRS. Just minimize that, and that. Right, I'm running. So as soon as you start running CRS, there will be this pop-up which will say no database has been detected, or that's what it means basically. You just need to select OK so we can set it up. So it's going to go and check for all instances of SQL Server on your network. This is obviously pointing to our local instance we've installed on this PC. If you click the drop down, you'll see some other instances which you may have set up on your network. The host name is obviously the computer name followed by the instance name. In this case it's CRS, which is the default method by running the setup.command file. The database name is also CRS as default. You can change these, but I recommend keeping it as it is. The database login is SA, that's your root user, and SA1 is the default password we've set up on the script. But if you've installed it manually, you may have to modify these settings here just to match the settings you've got for your own SQL Server. So you'll probably find the host name will be different, maybe your username and password will be different. But anyway, assuming everything's all gone to plan, just click the test connection. That will attempt to connect to the database and just confirm it's okay. If it goes green, then we can continue with the rest. If it goes red, then just double check your host name, your database name, username, password to make sure they're correct. Once you've gone here, we're going to check now. This, because we're looking locally for the SQL Server, it's going to go green. But if it's on the network, that'll probably go red. So you can probably skip to number 3. So it's gone green because it's found an instance of SQL Server on our network, well, on my main PC which we're using right now. So now we're going to do a check to see if the database is available. If it goes red, it means you've probably tried to install it previously, and so you just need to delete the database first. That can obviously do this with caution. I don't need to delete your data, but if you want to delete, tick that, then click the delete database, and that will just run a script which will delete the CRS instance of database, whatever that name is there. So we're not going to do that because there's no database already on the system. It's a clean install. So tick that or press that and it'll go green. So far so good. Now we're going to create the initial database. Click on that. It's going to ask you are you sure you want to do this? Again, if you've been using CRS then you shouldn't be this far. You don't want to do this because it'll probably damage your database. Clicking yes, that's going to create the data. That's all fine. So lastly, we're going to create all the tables of the database, and that will be all the settings as well, ready to start using CRS. Your current database tables could be damaged if your procedures. Are you sure? So obviously yes, because it's a new install. Again, if you've had CRS on your system, I can't say this enough, is just to make sure you definitely are sure if you've been running CRS previously. So now that's going to run all the scripts to set up the database. So it's all gone green. So what you should see at the end of it is 5 green boxes. Any red boxes, it will provide you with more information in this area, but normally red means it's not making a connection to your database, especially if you after a test connection or there's something wrong with your system. Sometimes it might be worth just trying it on a different computer just to make sure it's not your setup. As I said, SQL Server is quite a big program by Microsoft and it can cause issues sometimes. So save and close. You'll get the database prompt. So database is version 0 because there's nothing on there at the moment other than the default database. Click OK and that will upgrade up to the latest version. Takes a few secs. And now we've got new version 15. So that's basically 15 revisions to the database since the CRS was released in September 2012. And by the time you've seen this video, it might be a little bit higher, this number. So now it's coming up, it's opened up this box, it's ready to start using. You may get a box first saying that license is not around. If you haven't installed your license yet, I demoed this a few minutes ago, so the license already in place. Just download from your email to your desktop or somewhere on your computer, and then hit the browse button. Select your license file and CRS will automatically put it in the right places. Your default structure for all the database files and your template files is under your documents area. There'd be a folder called CRS which is automatically created, and in there you'll have another folder called database which will be your database connection file, and templates will be all your HTML templates. This will be discussed in our next tutorial. Okay, to start using CRS, the default access code is 1234. And CRS should now be running. You can see you're running as an administrator, a single user account. Okay, this is the end of this tutorial. If you have any questions or want help or advice, then just get in touch with us through our forums, which is computerrepairshopsoftware.com/forums, or on the main page just click on the support button and that will take you to the forums. Okay, thank you.